Fantasy Women's Basketball Waiver Wire. Yueru emerging as must-add center in Dallas as the WNBA All-Star festivities take over Gainbridge Fieldhouse, with a league-best 3 Indiana Fever players participating. Fantasy basketball managers are navigating a condensed schedule, aiming to maximize production before the mid-season break. With only a handful of teams playing multiple games this week, strategy becomes essential. For example, the Phoenix Mercury play twice, on Monday and Wednesday, offering fantasy managers a window to capitalize on surging players like scoring guard Sami Whitcomb, who's turning heads with her 9th-year breakout. Meanwhile, teams like the Washington Mystics play only once, limiting fantasy upside for their players. One of the most surprising fantasy revelations this week has been Yueru of the Dallas Wings. Initially seen as a depth move after a quiet stint in Seattle, Yueru's transfer to Dallas has unlocked new potential. She's quickly emerged as the Wings' primary pivot, delivering standout performances and commanding more time on the floor. Her increase in opportunity, particularly minutes and touches, is translating into consistent fantasy production. In a league where bigs can be hard to come by, Yueru is now a top waiver target. Opportunity is king in fantasy sports, and that applies across the board this week. Another player benefiting from increased usage is Naz Hillmon, who's quietly seeing a rise in every key metric: minutes, usage rate, and scoring chances. While the general fantasy public hasn't yet caught on, managers can take advantage of this momentum and get ahead of the curve by picking up Hillmon now, just in time for what could be a breakout second half of the season. Rookies are also making noise. While Connecticut Sun's Rivers delivered her 4th consecutive double-digit scoring game last week, her team only plays once before the break, reducing her fantasy ceiling for now. Still, she remains a promising long-term stash. On the other hand, teams like the Golden State Valkyries, who play multiple games this week, present streaming opportunities for managers looking for short-term boosts, with rest days likely for veterans ahead of the All-Star weekend. Staying active on the waiver wire is critical. Whether it's capitalizing on Yueru's rise or adding high-usage players like Hillmon and Whitcomb, this is the perfect week to stay ahead in your WNBA fantasy league.